Alright, so, the Hatchet. My second favorite weapon in the game. We talked about that a little bit last video, but to continue. The Hatchet was more of a faster, like the faster style weapon and like that. Now, in my opinion, the Hatchet it flows better in some of the power attacks. You can actually get some extra range out of your attacks if you power attack on their, like when you're slashing to the left. If you power attack right after that, you actually scoot forward a little bit more. But if you power attack on the right, you just go straight into it. You don't move as forward. But the sword and shield, it doesn't flow as well into its heavy attack. Unlike the Hatchet has the best flow to it. But now, on to the abilities. So, for the Hatchet, it increases its line attack damage against enemies that are low HP. Pretty simple. Attacking enemies more, increase your damage more. Simple. By 10%, which is pretty crazy when it starts scaling up, because I haven't found a cap for this. It just keeps going up and up and up and up and up. It can get pretty high. I think I was hitting almost 1,000. No, almost 1,000. I was hitting 1,000 a hit on one bear that we were fighting. It was like a demon bear. It just went up and up and up. Now Berserker, right off the back, is almost a must because of this one right here. This may change way in the future when the game is actually out, but for now, this was my offhand tank weapon, because if I get low, swap over to this, pop Berserk, I won't die for 15 seconds. And if I kill something while Berserk is active, it adds 3 seconds, and if there's a bunch of little guys around me, cleave them all, bombs me all the way back up to max time, which is 15 seconds. And of course, you gotta increase your movement speed when Berserk is active, decrease all cooldowns, set Berserk by 10% for each hit received while in Berserk, which is pretty nice. Like, if you are pairing with another weapon, as of right now, all weapons share a global cooldown, which I really don't like. I really dislike it. But anyways, I had this on my F ability, so on my sword and shield, I would use my Q and R, but always save my F, which was my shield charge. So if I knew I wasn't going to kill it, and it was going to keep doing damage, I would save my F ability, which is this one right here. So it would be my reverse slash, shield bash. Those would be the two I'd use, and those have the shortest cooldown too. It was fine, but if I would get low, I would swap over to my Hatchet, pop this. These would get lower cooldowns, vice versa. Anyways, that's just my pairing going into this. Now, this is probably what the Hatchet was considered like the OP weapon in this game, which I mean, I guess I saw for survival reasons out in the world and hunting like that. It's nice. It's quality of life. You can stay out there longer. You don't have to worry about pots. You don't have to worry about anything like that. You can just kill a little critter that's running by. You're back up on some HP. So for me, everybody was saying this was the OP weapon. It was meta in this preview. Everybody ran around with it in PvP, which I personally didn't really understand, because you can easily counter the Hatchet. The Hatchet has the least amount of range. Yeah, it has throw abilities, but we're talking about this side. The least amount of range on its attacks. Light attack, heavy attack, real short. Easily counter it with the hammer that has a lot more reach to it, and the CC on the hammer. But the sword and shield easily counters the Hatchet. Yes, the left click spam was annoying. If you got caught by somebody do it, yeah, you're gonna get stun locked. Unless you have a sword and shield user who knows what they're doing, which can easily just counter the sword and shield in PvP. Yes, for your open world, in PvE, it's pretty powerful. for DPS because of this right here. It just keeps stacking up and stacking up. But if there's not ads spawning constantly, it's not as great as you would think. Moving on, it's sprinting attack. Also, a lot of these are really short cooldowns, as you see, except for this one, and this one, and this one. Anyways, so it's sprint attack, you leap forward, and you hit twice with the axe. Add some grit to it, so it does attacks from interrupts, or reduced chance of getting interrupted, which still got interrupted for me a lot, so I didn't really use it very much. This was my range option for my strength guy, which I think it should scale more towards this for this, but it doesn't. It scales more for this, even for this. So I was hitting some pretty high numbers for a ranged weapon. Anyways, increase the damage of sprint attack by 20% against low HP enemies, which still works for this. So it's bam, bam. Good for finishers, and if you get the kill, resets cooldown. Right? Nice. All abilities cooldowns are reduced by 20% when health is below 40%, which is pretty nice if you're sitting at low HP with this active. These pair together, it gets a little bit crazy, especially if you're still killing things with this active, getting more time. I had cases where this was still active and its cooldown popped. It was still active. It gets pretty crazy with that. Now this I really don't recommend picking in any case because you don't have heavy attack really. Especially if you have this, you just don't have the attack. You just don't. This is nice off to throws, I should say. Let's move on over. Oh, we missed Purge. Purge is okay. You didn't really get too many debuffs. Outside PvP, that didn't really matter. When you get stunned, they hit your weight again, unless you're PvPing. Then this becomes handy. Then this becomes real handy. And if you have multiple debuffs, you heal. Which is nice. I mean, the corrupted enemies do debuff you quite a bit, so this can come into play. You can just go straight into this tree and not even worry about this one over here. You don't have to touch the side, you can just go straight down this path. You can just fully go into the berserk tree and you'll be fine. Works perfectly. If this is going to be your main weapon and you just want to go on melee, this works good. Down this tree. Right? It works. Now off to the throwing. Now every third throw, increase the damage by 25%, which is nice. It's alright. And then you got your normal throw, like you're just aiming throw, normal throw. Headshots reduce cooldowns by 20%, which I liked. It was fun, but I have terrible accuracy. Everybody that watches the live streams knows. Everybody knows that I have straight stormtrooper aim. It feels bad. Critical throw allows all throws the ability to critical hit, which is nice. I didn't really use this one. Increase damage by 20% when aiming from longer than 3 seconds. Which is nice for me because I had to line up my shots, especially for pulling. This is what I used to pull as a strength character. This was my pull ability. Get another axe. Get another axe. So you have 3 axes, which pairs well with this. If you can line up those headshots and this, your last throw will be stronger. Or if you wanted to, you just go down to 2, pick up this one for this, or this one for this. Alright, continuing on. Bloodlust. Bloodlust was a good ability to get if you were just clearing out mobs. Get a kill, 10 seconds of damage increase. 20% damage increase. Nice. Now, power throw. Power throw is just a fun ability. It knocks enemies over. It's fun to watch. You hit somebody from behind, they flop forward, slamming their face on the ground. It's funny. Throw it in front, they fall backwards. It's nice. Blocking, this feels like it didn't do very much for enemies that were blocking. They still just powered right through. Sometimes they would take all 3 throws and a power throw. And sometimes I would walk up to him and smack him a few times with my axe, and it would break the guard. It's weird. And of course, it does more damage against enemies that are low HP. You can see theme with the hatchet. It's a executioner style weapon. DBS. Quick throw. You just throw axe real quick. It goes the shortest distance. Longest distance. Nope, longest distance. No. This has an arc. Like once you throw it, it starts arcing down immediately. This one goes the distance and then starts arcing down. So this one's good for the long distance throws. If you want to do that, snipe with the axe, you can. You can also do it with this. It's just a little bit harder because you got to angle it way up. You can't do it with this one. This one fades real quick because it's like the weaker quick throw. As you say, throw fast hacks, but also weakest. Self-explanatory. After dodging, increases damage by 20%. Nice. Dodging is a little bit weird in this game, as is because of latency, unfortunately. Increase damage by 25%, which then, if you get both these together, lines up with this damage. So, these 2 abilities will make it as strong as this one. This one's nice, don't get me wrong. Especially in a fight, a close range fight, this is pretty nice if you want to go that route. And then of course kills will refresh his cooldown. Now, since we went over the skill tree, I give my thoughts and opinions. Well, I guess we got this one: throw kills, or throw attacks, reduced targets damage absorption by 10%. To a max of 30% for 10 seconds, which is nice for bossing. It take more damage if you can keep those stacks up, which you pretty much can. Just going down this way, if you just go straight down this one, you don't even have to go straight down this one. You can pick up this one and this one. If you can land those headshots, you can keep this going for quite a while, which can be nice for bosses, for sure. The axe in general, it's nice for tanking, off-tank weapon. Start off with sword and shield, and then swap to this once you get low. And try to keep this up as much as possible for your healer to heal you up as you sit at 1 HP. You can still be staggered, or you can still be stun locked, you can still be stunned or stagger locked, stunned, all that, unless you're using this, but you'll still get stagger locked even with this, which sucks. I was hoping it did, but it doesn't. Very unfortunate. But that's whatever. I'm sure that will be addressed later on. One thing that I did find with throws for the hatchet is that in PvP, if people are running away from you, which they usually do with the life staff, if you hit them in the legs, they'll actually fall over. Not throwing this one. Throwing this one. Right here. If you hit them in the legs, they fall over. Or hit them in the back when they're running away from you. They fall over. And you can throw it again to keep them back on the ground. Even if you have 3, you can knock them down 3 times. And you can get close enough to hit them with this, which will also knock them down. Or this one, which will guarantee a knockdown. So you can catch up to somebody, but by the time you do, they'll just life staff away again. That's pretty much what it boiled down to with the life staff. It was the mount staff. That's pretty much what it was. So all around, the hatchet felt. So I guess let's go into the pros and cons. The hatchet felt the best out of like basic attacking. It had lower animation locks than the sword and shield. But unfortunately, both the sword and shield and the hatchets and leaping attacks both got interrupted fairly easy in my experience. Now they both have some heavy animations, especially this. You can actually get hit out of this animation and still activate. So this one doesn't really animation lock you too much, so that's fine. One problem I did encounter real often though was this one. This one is nice, but for some reason my FPS would drop to a slideshow if I would use this and look up. If I was looking up and using this ability, for some reason it would just go into a slideshow and it just wouldn't go away. So it made it hard to aim properly with this. Sometimes it was manageable, but on most times it didn't go. It just went to a slideshow and frames dropped rapidly. It's gonna suck. And also, if you're wondering why my cooldowns are off by 1 on majority of all of these, it's because of my focus. I have 4 points of focus from one of my armor pieces. Let me just take it off so you can see. That off. Take that off. I believe that's the only one with focus. And now they're back up to where they're supposed to be what was normal. I think it was just because of that. Anyways, so those were the cooldowns. Back to pros and cons. Pro, it was fun, versatile, real versatile. Well, versatile with the throws and melee. You can interweave both of them. You could dash back, start throwing, chase them down by throwing or leaping at them. If they leap back, you can leap at them. It was nice. There's not too many cons with the hatchet. It has good survivability, good damage. It was, well, I guess tanky with this. Easily countered. But it just started getting real spammy. You wouldn't really ever heavy attack unless to break guard, and you would just start spamming this and that's it. Sword and Shield had abilities to use. Granted, this one has this to use, but you only want to use this after running away. You'll be losing on a damage if you're just not spamming attacks. This is all PvE, not PvP talk. So this is pretty much what you wanted to do, is just keep swiping left click, left click, left click. Literally just fury. You could go throw, but this is the most DPS you can get out of the weapon. No, it started to get boring. I started off with a hatchet, leveled up with the hatchet just for survivability reasons. It got boring. I picked up the sword and the shield, and it was just so much funner. It was so much funner with the sword and shield. And that's why the sword and shield is my favorite, and it's the only dual weapon in the game for now that I know of. I really hope that they add dual weapons to the game, man. Sword and shield can't be the only dual weapon. Anyways, I hope to see. Oh, not I hope see. I'm excited to see what they do to the hatchet when it actually releases. One quick thing, I really hope that they make a hatchet a dual wielding weapon, so you'll have 2 hatchets. Not necessarily make it stronger, but it would just look so much better. Because I hate just the bear claw thing. You're just standing there with an empty hand, a one-handed weapon, may I add, which you can't use an offhand with. You can't use a shield that's sitting on your back, just sitting there, not being used. With an open hand. Why? It even says it's a one-handed weapon. Why? Can't use any offhands with it. Why? It's a shield. Or an offhand. Let me use it. Or maybe just give it another weapon. A throwing weapon, perhaps. I don't know. Something. You have an empty hand. One-handed weapons. Let me use an offhand. I don't understand. Just give it another weapon to throw or something. Give it 2 hatchets. It would look so much better. You would feel like a not old. You would feel like a Viking berserker if you have 2 hatchets and you just start running at things. You know what I mean? I mean, you have infinite hatchets. Why can't you just have one of those hatchets in your other hand? There you go. Dual wielding hatchets. Just start hacking, whacking, and slashing. And throwing. Power throw, you throw 2 hatchets. You know? Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I will be doing the hammer next. I'll be talking about the hammer next. I didn't have too much experience with it because I didn't really use it, as you saw in the things. And after the hammer, I will be talking about the attributes and just my thought process on those. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. See you all in the next video. Also, I didn't say in the sword video, but if you have anything you'd like to add on the sword video or the hatchet video, please do. If you guys like what I bring, leave a like. If you don't, leave it a dislike. But if you enjoy, you want more, I'll be doing hammer next. I already said that. Rambling. Feel free to hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care and enjoy yourselves.